Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. And I just want to take a second to wish you all a happy new year. And I hope 2022 is a prosperous year for all of us. This is Talking Sense, David, with my latest trade idea. Actually, one of the first trades I plan to execute now at the beginning of 2022. The markets have been extremely volatile at the moment, and a lot of people are uncertain as to what they should do. Should they move into cash? Should they stay invested? Should they add to their positions? All right, so it is quite a tricky market. The Fed is deciding to increase interest rates over the course of this year. It's projected that there will be 3 rate hikes, possibly even 4 if they get aggressive. Whether that materializes is yet to be seen. So the markets are pricing in that situation where liquidity is going to be pulled out of stocks. So these high growth stocks are starting to pull back. So that is what I see happening. And I'm just going to go straight into my pick that I think is going to do well over 2022. And that is Facebook, which is now called Meta Platforms. And in front of you, I have analysis going here. It's an inverse head and shoulders. So traditionally, a head and shoulders pattern it's like, look, if you look at your shoulders, your head, your shoulders, that pattern is a bearish signal. And that tells you that the stock is probably going to head south, go down. Now, on the flip side, we have an inverse head and shoulders. As you can see, the blue lines that are depicting that chart pattern on the screen. Now, this is for Meta, and I believe that it is forming this inverse head and shoulders pattern. You'll see that Facebook broke down from its high of 383, and it sold off quite aggressively to about 308. And this first blue line was the start of this inverse head and shoulder. This is where it put in that first shoulder. It rallied up, hit the neckline, which is the resistance point, sold off again, and formed that head. So it went a little bit lower to about $299, $300 a share, and then it shot straight back up, not immediately, but over the course of 2-3 weeks. And it hit that same position again, that neckline, and it sold off. So you can see it's formed that perfect inverse head and shoulder. And the second shoulder is busy forming now as we speak. So if this pattern plays out, what I am expecting as this is, you usually wouldn't enter now. All right. Depends if you are risk adverse or risk tolerant. You could enter now if you wanted to have more of an upside. But as I explained earlier, the markets are extremely volatile, and there's been a sea of red on multiple occasions. It looks like some people are rotating out of tech into value, and also people, smart money, are selling rallies and taking profits after the enormous run that we've had in 2021. So smart traders or risk tolerant traders, the risk tolerant traders might take a position now. I've taken a position into Facebook, not a very big position, but I plan to build that position over time. I like the stock. I'm not going to focus on the fundamentals too much or where I see them going in the metaverse. In this video, we're just looking at price action and where I see it going from here based on the technical analysis. So you'll see if you enter here, you're looking at about 323. That's where I took my first position. Facebook is currently on 334. So I think it's completing the second shoulder. And the bullish sign is when it breaks this neckline, where it hit twice and sold off. Where this yellow ring is, that's where the signal will tell you that it's moving upwards into a bullish situation. It's going to go up to the upside. So most people would wait for that signal. Once it closes above that neckline, that would indicate that it's going up and the trend has reversed, and that's where traders will ride it up and take profits, probably at about 384. So I've gone in a little bit earlier. Whether this materializes, it obviously is not yet, it hasn't been seen. So there is a bit of risk to it because the markets are up and down at the moment. And also we have an earnings report coming up in February, probably around about the 2nd or 3rd of February. Facebook will have their earnings update. So earnings updates, they are actually quite tricky to trade. Usually I exit positions before earnings updates because what I've seen in the last few years, stocks sell off quite aggressively, except for these high, big tech companies like Apple. Even Facebook, sometimes it's been sold off because people expect revenue shortfalls, they've missed their targets. So it is actually quite a tricky situation trading up to an earnings call. So that is one risk that I need to highlight if you decide to make this position or take this position rather. And again, I'd just like to express that this is not financial advice. It's just what I intend on doing. I've taken a position into Facebook at about 323 and I would exit at about 385. So in actual fact, I like Facebook for long term, and I believe the company isn't going anywhere. So this is a short-term trade for me, but I also have a long-term position in the company. So again, let's just recap this, what I think is going to happen. This inverse head and shoulders is going to play out. Once it breaks that neckline, probably at about 351, you're going to wait for one candle close, a full day candle close above that neckline to give you confirmation that it's broken that neckline and it should extend up to that previous resistance at about 380. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking for probably about a 20% upside over the course of the next 2-3 months. Obviously, there's some risk, like I mentioned, the earnings call. But if they smash that earnings call out the park, then I expect this share is going to rally. I personally think it's one of the cheapest tech stocks listed on the stock exchange in the US. And I think a lot of people are going to realize that they should be moving out of these high growth stocks like Apple, Microsoft, or Google. Google is relatively cheap still, in my opinion, but I think it will rotate from that into Facebook and other neglected or underperformers from 2021. So we're going to see a rotation, in my opinion. I am backing Facebook, and I thought I would share that with you. That's where I'm going to end the video today. I just wanted to share with you my setup. Again, I just want to express that please don't go and sell your house and take this position. This is just from what I've seen and what I am going to do. So please don't take this as financial advice. Use it for your own research purposes. You can follow the trade. And if you decide to take on the trade, always manage your risk. Decide how much you are willing to lose. So if you're going to go and throw, let's say 10,000 Rand in there for 20% upside, you're only going to make 2,000 Rand. Now the downside is what you have to manage. How much are you willing to risk to get to that extra 2,000 Rand that you want to bank, for example? So if you are willing to hold Facebook indefinitely or long term, and if it drops 10% rather than going up, and if this inverse head and shoulders doesn't play out, and the share drops 10%, 20%, 30%, you would be 3,000 Rand in the red. Now, will you be able to handle that psychologically? Would you be able to add more to your position? Would you have the conviction to hold Facebook for a long time, in the long term, so you don't lose? Or are you the trader or investor that says, okay, my exit strategy is 15%, I sell out my position, I take it on the chin, I lose 1,500 trying to risk 2,000? So I can't express that enough. Please just manage your risk and stick to your strategy. Know that your exit is 20% upside, 380 when it gets to the existing high, and your downside is 15%. If you've got your exit in place, if you've got your entry in place, then you tend to sleep better at night and you are in control. All right, so thank you again for following this channel. If you haven't hit subscribe, I would truly appreciate that. My 2020 goal is actually to try and grow my YouTube. I'm going to try and be consistent going forward, sharing videos, ideas, having discussions. So I would love to hear from you and what feedback you have. If you agree with that, if you agree with this trade, hit that like button and comment of other shares that you might be interested in, and I would love to check them out. So I'm going to end the video here, and thanks again, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening, wherever you are in the world. Bye for now.